Right, yeah. So your debut year, 2003, kicked 30 goals. Did you have at the start of the year ambitions to just hold your spot, or did things just escalate pretty quickly?
No, not at all. Was lucky enough just to get a full pre-season in that year.
Mm-hmm.
Played the practice matches and, got picked for round one.
Yep.
And, just extremely lucky and played. And I was just basically an 18-year-old kid just playing footy. Didn't even think about anything. So
Yep.
just doing what I loved and really enjoyed it. And, I was fortunate enough to play the whole year.
Yeah, right. Yep. So you said just before that that was your second year at the club. The first year didn't go as planned?
Yeah, and I drafted end of 2001, 2002. Wasn't a great start to my career.
Yep.
Small little fat boy from the country. Going up to the big city was quite a challenge.
Yep.
Day one I got there, had a broken foot, so I was out for 3 months with that.
Yeah, right.
Got back into training. I think I might have played one game in reserves, then I had glandular fever. Got sent home for 3 months, come back and did a quad, and then I think I was lucky enough to play 2 or 3 finals games for the VFL at that stage to finish off the season, but I might have had a little crack in the femur at one stage there too at the end of that. So
yeah, right.
It was a rough start, but like I said, lucky enough to get the second year where I could do a full pre-season.
Yep, you made up for it in the second year.
Yeah, it was a lot easier.
Yeah, that's good. So you earned a nomination for Rising Star in that debut season. At what point did you realise that you were made for that level?
It's a tough one to answer that. Mm-hmm. Probably you never really think you make it. If you do, you might get comfortable with yourself. Mm-hmm. As I mentioned before, I was just a young kid playing footy and enjoyed it.
Yep.
Didn't really think too much about that and just want to continually improve.
Yep.
And once you get in the system for a few years, you learn you got to train, you got to work harder and harder and keep getting better and better. Mm-hmm. So I did learn early days to never be comfortable because it can bite you on the bum pretty quickly.
Yeah, right. That's good mentality.
And you can go backwards. So I could probably say my 12th year was still at that sort of thought process. You're not far off. Blokes coming past you and kind of stuff. So I had the inner belief that I could play at the level and could mix it against the other guys. That was just my inner belief and what I'd tell myself.
Yep.
But you can never get comfy at that level.
Yep, that's a good mindset to have, especially at that level. So you drafted at draft number 60. What was draft night like for you? Was it a bit of a blur now, or was it something pretty special?
I do have fond memories of the draft night. It was 2001. It was the so-called the super draft, they called it, with a lot of the superstars going in the early days, which wasn't me. I was late in the round. So I was only 17 at the time. I was up on the farm with mum and dad. It wasn't televised that year. It was all on radio and internet. Yep. So I remember we was at home watching it. The internet stopped working on the farm. So we couldn't see what was going on. So we drove down the road to my neighbours, about 2K down the road. They weren't home. We broke into their house, and it was a good mate. So we knew how to get on his computer, and we watched the draft night or the draft online, refreshing every time. And wasn't expecting to get picked up at all because I was the bottom age for it. So, and didn't have a heap of interest from any clubs at draft camp or anything like that. But ended up going to pick 60 to the Swans, and was with my brother and at the time reading it. And it was a massive shock to the system when it happened. That's for sure. But no, had a good night with my brother celebrating that night and the family. Really big night, which was great. And I think I was on a plane 2 days later up to Sydney.
Yeah, right. That's what I was going to ask. It's a pretty quick process straight from that on the plane.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, they get you up there as quick as they can and get you into. They don't go as hard as they used to on the young guys then. But day one, you're up there, we're into it straight away, and off you go. And I think actually one of the boys got to go on school still, which was great for him, but I don't think they let him do that anymore. They get him in there and off they go. So it was a good experience to go through it, but it was quite a nerve-wracking one, sitting in front of the computer not working.
Yeah. So the 2005 grand final, obviously a pretty big career highlight. What stands out to you most from that grand final day or that game that most people probably wouldn't see from the outside? Yeah,
great question. Obviously the best day of your life to go there and win a grand final and be lucky to be a part of such a good team. And I was very young at the time too. So I was probably young and dumb and didn't appreciate it as much as I probably should have because they're very hard to get to and let alone to win. So apart from the obvious, the celebration and the good nights or the good month we had after it, probably the big thing that stood out to me was not just me as an individual, but what it meant to the people around me. I couldn't get over how much it meant to them, and because my brothers, for example, was watching them celebrate and seeing a smile on their faces, and parents and friends, and you had an army of people come down to support you, and it's like they're sort of part of the journey as well. So it wasn't just me having that winning feeling; it was them. So that was probably a great feeling, and something I'll never forget. And the old man even had a beer after the game, and he never really drank in his life. So just stuff like that. It was it was great to see and something I'll never forget.
Yeah. So you realised those points sort of straight after the game, or was it just the adrenaline was still rushing and it wasn't until a few days later?
Oh, no, she's still a blur for the first 20 odd days after it. You remember bits and pieces here and there.
Yeah.
But no, there's some photos I look back on probably after reflecting with family and friends, and you just
when you get a bit of time on your own.
Yeah. Yep. And when you do slow down and you're laying in bed or hitting the couch, it was like, oh, wow, that actually happened.
That's awesome.
Pretty special.
So the MCG is a very world-renowned stadium. What's it actually like out there in the middle? 100,000 screaming fans in the stands. Can you hear the noise out there, or once that ball bounces, it all just fade away and you're focused?
It's crazy. There's no doubt about it. Yep. You do when you're in the game, in the mix of it. You don't have too much memories of it because you're so focused. But you do notice it's hard to hear out there when the crowd's up and about and the games are tight.
Yep.
But I still got a couple of memories. I can remember when I top my head 06, Adam Goods kicked the goal in the last quarter, the first 2 seconds of the last quarter, and I just remember going, whoa, this is like, couldn't hear yourself think. And your adrenaline just went like this, and you're like, oh, this is unbelievable. And I've also got the other end of it where Collingwood in the 2010 grand final are up by 40 points on us, and they start the Collingwood chant, and it just haunts me for the rest of my life. So, it's everything you expect it to be. Yeah. But in the moment you don't, but it's
because you're so focused
the time,
on your job.
you step out. And I had a little thing too pre-game. I'd go out, and anyone who started with you go, so get out there and have a look around, take it in, because that's when you're not really switched on as much, and just absorb it, because you've got to enjoy it too. Otherwise it will shock you when it comes. So you get that out of the system. But you pinch yourself a little bit. You're lucky to do that.
Yeah, wow, that's so good. So you're a part of the 2006 grand final. They come down to a single point. When you look back now, what sort of stands out to you from that day?
When you have time to reflect, when we played West Coast in 05 and 06 in the grand finals, and we won one each.
Yep.
And then during that period, I think we played each other 6 times over the 2 seasons, and the total points was 12 in total between the 2 teams.
Wow, yeah, right.
So if you reflect on footy and, the footy gods or whatever it is, it was sort of fair. We both won one each.
Yep.
If we didn't win 05, I no doubt, and we lost 06, I'd have a completely different mindset for you. Don't worry about that.
Yep.
And yes, there's still things that haunt you about it, and wish, and the what ifs, and the ecstasy of winning would have been unbelievable. But looking back and looking the way footy works, you sort of think, yep, okay,
that's fair.
We had a go, we lost by a point. 2 great rivalry, and it's a rivalry we'll never forget. But nothing but disappointment. But also knowing we gave our best, and I feel personally I had as much as I could have given. No regret about that. And on the day, they probably played a better game overall, even though it was a point. They probably deserved to win. And I felt 05, we probably deserved to win too on the day, about the way we played, even though they're both so close. So, no regrets, but a bit of disappointment.
Yep, that's a good mindset. 2007, you made the trek down to St Kilda from the Swans. What was your biggest sort of adjustment or life? Was it sort of the move from Sydney to Melbourne, or was it from the Swans to St Kilda?
It was a surprise, because I just re-signed with Swans probably 2 or 3 weeks before it happened.
Right, okay.
I was in Bali on holiday with my now wife and just relaxing, and then that all sort of happened. So I wasn't expecting it. So once the shock of that sort of got through, actually moved down there, it was just sort of dig in and get going. Footy clubs they're all similar, which is great. There's some good people in there. They welcome you and look after you. Probably the biggest difference was the city of following for AFL compared to Sydney. Didn't follow bigger. AFL, You couldn't really walk down the street. In Melbourne, as where Sydney, you could, throw a chair off a bridge and probably get away with it in the middle of the night. So that was a big adjustment. But then I had a really good coach, Ross Lyon, who I had at Swans before it. So it was great to work under him, and I knew him well. So it was good to adjust to his system. I sort of knew the language he was speaking, so it made it a lot easier.
Yeah, perfect. Easy.
But no, just earning respect off your teammates is probably the number one thing you got to do, and you put in a lot of time doing that, at your first club, and then you got to start again.
So at St Kilda, you were known for your goal sense and your being able to handle the pressure. How did your role there evolve from your earlier years at the Swans?
I think in Sydney it was more just a young kid playing footy, go out there, and I was playing as a small forward and have a bit of fun. Try and kick goals, and there's still a system, no doubt, don't get me wrong. But when going down to St Kilda, it was more a defensive mindset, it was more our Ross Lyon's game style. So probably wasn't one of my strengths as a player. I just enjoy kicking goals and celebrating, as all kids do. But he really brought into that, and you had to play your role for the team, and it still sticks to my mind this day, and everyone had a job to do, otherwise you wouldn't be in the team. So you have to switch and buy into that defensive mindset, and then just let your naturally offense side of things take over when it matters. So once I got that around, and he rewarded people for that, and it's really sort of changed the way I view the game now and how I coach and teach the game.
Yep.
You got to make sure you can work on a weakness of your area, but also know that your strength is still always going to be there. So, yeah, it was a big adjustment, but I really enjoyed it and still use it this day.
Yeah, that's good. Fast forward a bit more to the 2010 grand final, probably one of the most famous grand finals, definitely in modern history. The drawn one between St Kilda and Collingwood. When that siren went and it was all drawn, what was it like out there in the middle? Confusion, exhaustion, or was it just...
It was probably shock.
Yep.
You want to play another 5 minutes, but you knew the rules weren't allowing that. It's like, come on, let's just get it done.
Yep.
But I do remember we all got into a huddle, and there was still a bit of angst. Hey, maybe we do play 5 minutes. Maybe they'll allow it to happen. Let's just get it done. But that wasn't the case. But I remember standing there and looking around. It was like someone had been shot in the stadium or something had happened.
Yeah, right.
It was just this huss.
Yep.
No one knew what to do. No one knew what to say in the crowd. And we're probably out there for 5-10 minutes wondering. And then the coaches come over. They did the presentation for best on ground to Lenny, I think it was. And then the coach come in and said, right, let's go down the rooms. We'll sort it out. But when that happened, they come over, manager came over and said, the rooms have been flooded, the sewage is broken. So we couldn't go to our normal rooms. So it was weird. We had no gear. We've gone over to these other rooms that we hadn't been in before.
Just drawn a grand final.
Just drawn grand final. Family started walking in and what are we doing? What's happening?
Yeah. Wow.
But, it was such a weird feeling. But then I had Stevie Milne call me that night on the way home. I'm like, hey, feeling what's going on in your head? And Milne, he's great. He's the most positive bloke you'll ever meet. He's like, Snipes, we get another chance to play in a grand final next week. Imagine someone said you can play in 2 grand finals. Like, what a way to look at it. We get another opportunity to do again. So, unfortunately, it didn't go our way. But yeah, I had to try and flip the script straight away from that moment. But
and then prepare for a grand final.
Yeah, we go through it all again because it's fun, but it's bloody hard mentally and physically. But yeah, that feeling after, I remember just walking on the wing on the MCG, looking around going, what is happening right here?
Wow.
So,
Right.
And it'll never happen again either because they changed the rule. So.
Yep. Okay. Yeah. So do you feel that obviously 1 week and then the following week got to prepare for a grand final again? Do you feel it had an impact?
Oh, it's $1 million question.
Yeah.
Collingwood think they prepared better and did everything right.
Yep.
We still feel we did everything right.
Yeah.
You know, we were a bit banged up and sore, and they were the better team that year, so they deserved it in the end. And they ran away with it convincingly. So, you know, and if we had an extra 5 minutes, we had the momentum, we were coming home strong, and you know, there's all these what ifs. But,
exactly.
it was an amazing feeling, and obviously to experience the last ever drawn grand final too, something you can't forget.
Yeah, no, it's special. So during your career, you played 228 games. When did you feel that your mindset shifted from your own personal performance to helping the team and guiding those younger guys through?
Clearly, when you get a bit older, it sort of comes into your mind, you know. And the reason I say that is because when I was young, I remembered when the older guys helped me. And I still remember them guys to this day, whether it was at junior club, senior club, or at AFL. But we probably had that successful era without winning. Obviously, we were up the top a fair bit, and then that sort of went downhill. The window sort of shut, and the last 2 or 3 years we didn't make finals. The last 2 years we didn't make finals, and might have finished bottom in last year. So I was at the end of my career. There was some young guys coming through, and it's sort of what you want. I felt like I wanted to leave a bit of a legacy for me, knowing I'd help. And I enjoyed teaching. I enjoyed helping. I felt I knew the game pretty well and understood it. So I just want to pass on as much knowledge as I can. And because of that, it sort of took me down the coaching path too, which I do now and enjoy and love. So, yeah, probably last 2 or 3 years when I started getting involved in leadership stuff, but also taking a couple of young guys under my wing.
And it just shifted naturally.
I think so. And I'm too dumb to do anything else. So I think I've stuck with that as much as I could.
So you touched on how, like a lot of your career, you were up near the top and then it slid down, and towards the end of your career, you finished right down near the bottom there. How did that impact you mentally and also dealing with rookie lists and injuries, etc.?
Well, you got to be mentally strong. It's part of it, but they also teach it and train it too. So, unfortunately, I was injured a fair bit. I only had 2 seasons where I played every game. So, I think I counted over 25 muscle injuries and shoulders and ankle operations and that as well. It's part of the game, unfortunately, but I copped a fair bit of it. So, that sort of things I sort of learned to deal with. It's never easy, there's no doubt, but it did make me stronger. But when you do get towards the end, you start getting cranky old man and that cranky sort of bloke because you want to play. You know you don't have long left. So dealing with that was something that you just was part and parcel. As for last year, I was just hanging on as long as I could. I didn't want to finish. And it just worked out that the rookie was just a way to put us on the list, and I wasn't phased. I backed myself to go out there and try and get picked and play the next year. But come the end of that year, I just knew physically the body was done. Yeah.
Yep.
It probably just couldn't keep up to the demands of it, just the soreness. And, and, you know, taking 5 days, it took 6 days to recover.
Yeah, right.
But again, if it was mentally, I was still pretty good. Just physically, it was just too hard to keep up. And I still love it. I wish I could have and played a lot longer because long time retired, as they say. But yeah, it gets to the end of your career at some stage, doesn't it?
So your final game, come against Sydney in Sydney. Does that feel like a full circle moment once you had time to think about it, or was it all just like everything coming to an end more so?
Yeah, I got advice of someone coming towards the end. They said fairy tales are made for kids. And it's pretty true. You don't get to go out your own way unless you're pretty lucky. But I felt playing against my old club, I've got such great memories, such great mates. It was a pretty good ending. I did lose by about 90 points, I think. We did get smacked.
Well, you do remember that.
Yeah, I do remember that. But no, it was pretty lucky, and I was lucky to have it planned. I got my family, a lot of my friends come down. So to have that moment with people who've been there the whole way was pretty lucky and special.
And to know you can do it on your own accord too. Not just, you know, get injured in the last 3 weeks of the season and that'd be it.
No, that's right. I did tweak my calf and I got 3 scans that week because I was paranoid. I'd hurt it bad, but I wrapped it up and played no matter what. So
that was happening.
It was just a bit of a relief too towards the end too, and it was a good closing, I suppose. If you look at it that way.
Back there and do it for Sydney.
Would love to finish in the final and win, but that's the way it is. I still managed to get some people around me, and some blokes get injured, don't get to have their last game. So
that's right.
Yeah, lucky.
That's good. So once you retired, you moved into coaching and development sort of roles. Was that something that sort of come naturally and you just fell into it, or did it take a bit to get there?
No, it took a bit. When I finished, I had no idea what I was going to do.
Yeah, right.
Absolutely none. And all I knew, I didn't want to rush into something. So I took a bit of time, a few months to sort of find my feet. And work in a job. I wanted to play some games. I wanted to come home and play with my mates, which I managed to tick off, and we'll never forget. And my brothers, we'll never forget. But no, I was lost. Didn't know what to do. I didn't have a career to back me up. I didn't have a certificate in anything. And then I played with Milne at a Beau Morris down there for a year while working a job, and then I got offered to coach the team the next year. And like I said, I did have a bit of an interest in that, so I took it on. Really enjoyed it. And then the year after that, I went up to the Giants for 4 years, and it's a big part of my life now, coaching and teaching. And that's probably the area I feel most comfortable in life. But yeah, no, it was definitely a hard transition, that's for sure.
Right. Yeah, okay. So with your experience that you picked up at Giants, you now see yourself here with the Lavington Panthers in the O&M. How's that all been for you over the last 5 years? I think coming into your 6th season?
5th or 6th, I can't. Maybe 5th coming into.
So how have you sort of found that and the guys, the local talent we got here and sort of where they're heading?
Look, it was probably... Didn't plan to come here. It was all the COVID stuff was just enough, and a typical family caught up in it. Wasn't fair for living my kids up there, and we had to go away for 70, 80 days for the AFL. So decided to make the move. Had a relationship here with Graham Hart, which was great. Come down to the club, and I knew about it growing up out here as well in the O&M, and knew it was a good standard. So and when I got here, I just saw the amount of young talent we had flying around, which is great. And I believe you build your club from the bottom and try and get your juniors as much involved. That's what makes a successful club. I really enjoy the development side of things, and I love kids that want to learn, and I get a bit of a thrill out of watching them grow as well. So, too old and fat and slow to play, so you got to get a kick out of it somehow. But that's what I do, and we've had a fair few guys now which are going down to the VFL and Sandful as well. So which is huge for them and great opportunities, and that's my sort of feel good moment is just having a little bit of part of their journey and just passing on all the experience I got. To give them the best chance, I suppose. So, I really love my time here.
Yeah, that's awesome. A couple of fun ones. If you could go back and play one game from your career, what are you picking and why?
Well, now you say it's fun, I might change my mind and go back to the 05 and play that feeling again. But what I could change would be probably the 09. We played Geelong in the grand final and we lost.
By 1 point?
No, I think it ended up being they kicked a goal in the siren and lost by 8 or 9, I think. Margin doesn't matter, mate. We still lost. But no, I had a pretty rough day for my role. Didn't quite play my role really well. Missed some opportunities, some easy opportunities, and just didn't do my job. So I can't change it, it's something that definitely sticks with you for forever. But there's the other side. I know I gave it all and tried my best. Just quite didn't succeed. So if I could change that, I would love to. Not just personally for me. Would have been great to win another grand final. But I don't want to be picky. But also St Kilda guys that I went through. Played in 3 grand finals, didn't win one of them. I just would have loved for all of us to experience that together as a team, because we had some good years together but didn't quite get the ultimate. So if I could flip that one around, it'd be great. But Geelong had won enough, so they could have given us one.
One we ask all our guests, 3 dinner dates, dead or alive. Who have you got around the table with you?
Yeah, Denzel Washington's one of my favourites. He's got the amount of aura about the man. I'd love to get around him and watch him put on his acting and do a bit of fun. Will Farrell's probably one of the funniest men alive that I really enjoy. He'd make me laugh at anything. So he'd be good. And I don't know, probably I'm a massive, massive cricket fan, and I've been lucky enough to meet Ricky Ponting. I love having him around the table, and I just love hearing him just talk cricket. Loves it, smart as well. So, yeah, there'd be 3 people I'd enjoy.
Yeah, nice setup. Last one. So you played alongside a lot of stars throughout your time. Who's one teammate comes to mind that you see is probably sort of unappreciated that the fans didn't get to see the best of?
There's a few ones that guys probably wouldn't even remember playing, sort of thing. But going through the St Kilda era, there were some role players there, the Andrew McWalders, the Rob Eddies, that just did the work. They did all the hard stuff for you, and they made the good players look good, sort of thing. So them type of guys, still probably one of the luckiest blokes to play with for me. He's definitely known and rated, but I still think his status should be higher, and it's probably Lenny Hayes. The way that man changed games of footies and 10-minute patches where he just did stuff he just couldn't fathom, and he would lift you as a player. So, yeah, he was unbelievable, mate. And like I said, he's well known, but he should be, to me, right up there with the best. And he was unbelievable to play with.
Awesome. Oh, that's very good. The insight to the AFL career and then your coaching of Lavy. All the best for the season ahead for the O&M, and thanks for your time.
So easy, Dave. Thanks very much. Cheers.